Remember, if you're aiming for 100%, you might end up in burnout, especially in the summer months. So you're just going to aim for excellent, which is still 80% of it being done. It's not going to be perfect, but it's still there. And you're still making progress daily, especially in the summer, just that little tiny bit a day. Hello and welcome to the Encourager Podcast, where we talk about real life and real systems so you can joyfully harmonize both home and work. I'm your host, Rebecca Scott. I'm a wife, mom, designer, coach, and lifelong systems thinker. And I help overwhelmed women build simple, sustainable rhythms that actually work for their real lives. Around here, we talk about priorities, pre-decisions, and practical tools that bring peace instead of pressure. Because you don't need more hustle, you need better systems and more grace. Today's episode is a good one. Hello, Encouragers. On this week's podcast, we're going to talk about how to get more done without doing more. What if this summer, instead of trying to keep up with everything, you actually finished something that really mattered? Because there's this tension in summer. You want to be present, but you also don't want to fall behind. You want to make progress, but you don't want to burn yourself out. And that tension is what causes us to just flip and flop and flip and flop all summer long. And we're trying to juggle it all, but we just end up scattered, we're distracted, and then unfinished. And we keep pushing things to I'll do that when the kids get back in school. So I want to introduce a shift that has worked for myself and also a couple of clients that will help you during the summertime to have less directions everywhere you're going and more focus so the one thing can be done. You get more done not by doing more, but by choosing one thing and returning to that again and again. So I want to tell you about this client that I had that I was coaching, and her original goal was to start and finish her podcast. And so we took a look at her family. We took a look at the 5 systems, which I always coach on and I talk to you guys frequently about. And her original goal was, okay, so let's just get started actually, because once we took a look at the kids all being home and everything, it was like, I don't know if I'm actually going to finish it. So let's just start it. So we talked about that. We talked about what would getting started look like for the website. It was creating a few tabs and the rough framework for the website. And we kept in mind that the reality was it was summer months. All of the kids were home. She had a full life with camps and everything we all do during the summer. And she had a lot of distractions as we all do during the summer. So what we coached together on was we picked the one thing, which was the website, the tabs and the rough framework that she wanted to happen. And we just kept coming back to that. Okay, let's create the tabs and let's make sure that the framework is all created. So we're just doing this one thing. We're doing the website for the summer. We didn't overcomplicate it. We just kept coming back to the tabs and the framework. And then what ended up happening is because she had chosen the one thing, she didn't just start it. She ended up making progress. And then guess what? She ended up publishing the website before the end of the summer. And it's because she wasn't distracted about all the things that she could be doing on the website. She just kept coming back to, this is what I need to complete. So when she did have that focused time, she knew oh, this is the plan. And she ended up getting that part done. So she bit off a little bit more, and then she bit off a little bit more, even in the summer months. So because we worked together to block in the time during the week that would work, and that shifted week to week because of the kids being home and just camps and that kind of stuff. But when those hours were blocked, that's what she was working on. And we created a clear step plan for how to get there. So once the one part was done that she thought would take her all summer, we're like, okay, well then what would the next steps be? And that's how she was able to execute on the things that mattered for the website. She didn't have any more time than you and I do. She just had more focus. So I've got 7 simple steps to help you choose the one thing for the summer so that you're not doing more, you're just doing the one thing. Step number 1, choose your one thing. Not 5 goals, not I'll get to this if I can. We're just going to choose one thing for the summer. Now, this might be for your personal life or this might be for your professional life. Maybe it's one goal. Maybe it's one project, or maybe it's just one habit you're trying this summer. But look at your 5 systems: me system, food system, home system, family system, and work system, and choose the one thing. Now, you can choose one thing for each of the systems, but if you're super overwhelmed, just pick 1 or 2 or 3 of them. But ask yourself, what is one thing that, if finished or consistent by the end of the summer, would actually matter. Step number 2, brain dump and eliminate. Oh, I love a brain dump. So get everything out of your head. You're doing this before summer. I just want you to get everything out of your head. Lay it on a piece of paper or the digital version, but I want you to see all the ideas and all of the goals and all of the shoulds in there. I just want you to dump it down. This is everything for the summer that you want to dump down, okay? Then choose what's going to stay and what's going to wait. You don't have to erase it forever. You're just going to push that to the fall, if that's the case. But you're thinking through what is going to stay for the summer, challenging you to one thing. So sit with this one for a little bit. After you do that brain dump, it's like, okay, well, what would be the most beneficial for me to have done by the end of the summer? And what is most realistic for me to have done by the summer? So you're choosing that one thing after the brain dump. Ask yourself, what is realistic and what is most impactful from my brain dump for me to start? Step number 3, reverse engineer the finish line. You know how I love reverse engineering. That's starting with the end in mind. So start with, by the end of the summer, this is done. And what is that? What is your one thing after that brain dump? Okay, so you're going to be able to say, by the end of the summer, this is done. And that being the case, what step comes right before that? And what step comes before that? It makes the big thing feel doable. And if you have too many steps before that end thing and you're going, wait, this can't happen. Okay, then let's fix that finish line. Let's move it up a little bit, meaning maybe you won't complete the project, but you'll get to 80% of that. So then what's the step before that? Like think through, wait, this is too many steps for the summer. And then move that finish line up a little bit. So the project may not be completed, but what is the new version of completion of that one thing? By asking yourself, what is the next step before this, you won't get overwhelmed by the whole project because you're just thinking of it like that. So if you want to launch something in September, let's say, what is going to happen in August? Well, that's when you're hyping it up and you're planning for the website checkout and all of that, right? And then in July, you're probably uploading photos, you're getting debuts ready, you're making sure the customer journey is good. And then the step before that is June is like, okay, well, you're planning everything and getting the layout already. This can also be applied to your personal life as well. It's like if you want to be able to run a marathon in September, what needs to happen by August? Well, you probably need to be able to run so many miles. And then in July, what does that look like? And in June, what does that look like? But starting with that end in mind, then you can figure out what's going to happen in which month by doing the reverse engineering. Hey, encouragers, hope you're enjoying this episode. We'll be right back after this short break. This episode of The Encourager is brought to you by Rebecca Scott Designs, where we create thoughtfully designed purses and accessories that support your real life, not just your outfit. Every bag is designed with intention, handcrafted right here in South Dakota, and built around the belief that beauty and function should work together. From custom fabrics and linings to leathers, zippers, and really cool features, you get to design a piece that truly fits your life. Visit designyourownbag.com to create your own custom bag and use code ENCOURAGER for $10 off your purchase. Step number 4, work it daily. Now, you can take weekends off if you want, but what I mean by that is because you are focusing on one thing, small progress is going to matter, and it needs to be done daily and only to 80%. Remember, if you're aiming for 100%, you might end up in burnout, especially in the summer months. So you're just going to aim for excellent, which is still 80% of it being done. It's not going to be perfect, but it's still there. And you're still making progress daily, especially in the summer, just that little tiny bit a day. So back to the story about the coaching client, she didn't have perfect work blocks. They got interrupted because of summer mode and everything. So when that would occur, she remembered me saying to her repeatedly, what is the 1% effort you're going to apply today? You were not able to work on that framework for 2 hours, but could you work on it for 20 minutes today and just block that in? Okay, yep, that's a 1% effort you could do. That way you're not completely abandoning it. So ask yourself, where can I move this one thing forward at just 1% today if it just got off track because of summer mode? And then if you could do more, only taking it to 80%. But what is that daily action you can take towards your one thing? Step number 5, return to it. This is the secret of getting it done. Distractions are going to happen. Summer will definitely interrupt you. So I want you to remind yourself, I am returning to this. The goal is not perfection. It's being able to return to it faster. So the client did not have to stay perfectly focused because that was not going to happen, but she knew the one thing was the website. So when she would get distracted, she would just go back to, nope, I'm not planning the email series of how to debut the website. I'm only planning on the website. That is it. Ask yourself, what will I come back to when I get pulled away from the one thing? Whether you're pulled away by the kiddos, whether you're pulled away professionally, like a new shiny thing comes up, it's like, no. How will I return to the one thing? Here's a little pro tip too, guys. Have a little sticky note method. That means you put it on a sticky note. What the one thing is, you lay it on your desk or you lay it on your bathroom mirror, wherever it is, it's going to remind you, this is the one thing. And then tell friends and family because they will encourage you. They're in the middle of summer too. And they're like, hey, how's that coming along? And they cheerlead you because you have made it known. This is my one thing. Also, I love the timer method. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Set a timer for 45 minutes. Work on the one thing for that long. If you're 1%ing it, give yourself 5 minutes. If you've got a great day, give yourself that 40-minute block and then take a break and do another one. The timing method really helps with still making progress on the one thing. Step number 6, align with your summer feel. Okay, remember in the episode before this, how do you want your summer to feel? Do you want it to feel productive? Do you want it to feel peaceful? Do you want it to be memory filled? Now, how can your one thing still support that and not compete with it? How can you make sure that your one thing is not so detailed that you end up undoing what you wanted to feel? So readjust the goal a little bit about what the finish line looks like and ask yourself, does my one thing fit the kind of summer I actually want? Now, if it doesn't, I'm giving you permission to drop that one thing, pick something more manageable. Maybe you just sideline it or you reduce it a little bit. But I do give you permission if when you ask that thing, it's like, this is actually going to compete with the summer in the way that I want it to feel, you're going to drop it. You're just going to sideline it for later, or you're going to reduce how much of it you want it to do. And step number 7, let's be realistic, okay? Summer capacity is different. You're going to feel behind, but you are not behind. You have chosen the one thing. You've walked through the steps. It's going to look a little different because the rhythm is different, but that doesn't make it a failure. You're still applying that daily effort towards the one thing. Okay, encouragers, I always give you something you can do in the first 10 minutes of listening to the podcast that you can apply. I want you to choose your one thing today. Maybe that looks like going through the steps and doing the brain dump. Choose the one thing, write it down, identify what the next step will be. You can use reverse engineering. You can go to the last step and reverse it like that. And then you're just going to start it at 1%. It's a daily effort. Because at the end of summer, you won't remember everything you tried to do, but you will remember what you completed, how you showed up, and how you felt. And that's super important to me and to your family and to your work. I don't want you to feel pulled in a million directions. I don't want you to feel super distracted by our amazing things that we have in our homes during the summer. So we're just going to choose the one thing. And if you're unsure what your one thing should be, or you keep starting and stopping, that's exactly what we solve together in coaching. We figure out what matters for your season, and then we build systems around it so that you can actually follow through on it. And I would love to partner with you in coaching. You can go to theencouragerpodcast.com. There's quite a few different selections you can make, 1 session, 2 sessions, or up to 8 sessions. Take a look there. I'd love to walk alongside you. Even in the summer months, it is totally doable to accomplish things. Until next time, encouragers, we've got this because he's got us. If this podcast has encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe and leave a 5-star review. It truly helps more women find these conversations. And if you're listening thinking, I don't need more motivation, I need someone to help me figure out my actual life, that's exactly what I do. Through Encourager Academy and one-on-one coaching, I help women build personalized systems for their home, work, and life rhythms. No cookie cutter routines, but structures that fit your unique personality, your season, and your capacity. You can explore the Academy or book a free discovery call at theencouragerpodcast.com. Let's take your next small step forward together.